You tapping in real quick for this UFC fight night that's fitting to take place Saturday evening in Seattle, Washington. It's going down at the Climate Pledge Arena. That main event is a bang out in the bantamweight division between a ranked number 12 and a ranked number 7 bantamweights in the world. Triple C is back, y'all, for what it's worth. Whether it's a one and done or that young man's gonna call himself going on another run, Triple C is back, and he's currently the ranked number 12 bantamweight in the world, taking on Sung Yadong, currently the ranked number 7 bantamweight in the world, in a very respectable main event. Stylistically, this matchup, fucking fireworks. It's gonna be a bang out, man. Barnyard burner. That's what they call it. That's what the fuck it's gonna be. I think we're going to get 25 minutes. I think it's going to be fight of the night. Whoever's on the right side of this decision is going to get performance of the night. You understand what I'm saying to you? On top of that, fight of the night, this one's going to be a good one, man. This one's going to be a good one. I do appreciate y'all for tapping in. This video right here, this is the full card breakdown and predictions. I'll do my absolute best as not to hold y'all ear hostage for too long. But you already know how that go, man. Now, I'm not necessarily sure what that lineup's going to be come fight night, but this is the lineup that I have in front of me this evening, so it is very much so the one that we're going to rock with. You know what I'm talking about? Let's go ahead and dive into it, man. As of right now, kicking this card off. Boy, oh boy. This is a fight that I want absolutely nothing to do with. We have Modestus taking on Hafel. I don't want to butcher either one of these young men's last names any more than I may have already butchered their first names. You know what I'm talking about? Modestus versus, matter of fact, the Baltic Gladiator versus the Lion. You know what I mean? And it is what it is, man. This one right here, we don't have to spend a whole lot of time on it. You know, I don't want anything to do with this motherfucking fight, but I do personally believe Modestus is the side in this matchup. 16-6 up against Hafel's 11-1. If I'm not mistaken, Hafel's one loss comes via KO, TKO inside the distance relatively quickly by the young man Ebo, or whatever his name is, a little bit later on up the card. You know what I'm talking about? Ebo Aslan, or whatever his name is. If I'm not mistaken, they made their UFC debuts at the same time. Ebo came out on the right side of that one via catching, clipping, and disconnecting Hafel from his consciousness. You understand what I'm saying to you? Not to say that there's anything special or magnificent about the Modestus side of things. And he's currently a -325 favorite. I'm not in love with that price tag at all next to Modestus, next to the Baltic Gladiator's name. You understand what I'm saying to you? 31 years old, you know, 6'3" with a 78-inch reach. Old boy the Lion, 34 years old, 6'3" with a 76-inch reach. The level of opposition, there's no real great significant difference in the level of opposition, although, you know, the Baltic Gladiator has been competing over here in the UFC for quite a bit. So there is a, you know, there is a bit of a difference in the level of opposition that they've been up against, but no great significant difference, in my personal opinion. You understand what I'm saying to you? Modestus is the side, though. And in my personal opinion, it's going to be, you know, unanimous decision. Maybe this joint gets greasy. Maybe it's closely, you know, highly competitive and closely contested, and both of their names get read off, and it's a majority or split decision type of situation to kick the night off. You know what I'm talking about? Because I really don't think anybody's getting finished. Modestus, the Baltic Gladiator, he's a bit too defensively sound, in my personal opinion, for the Lions game. But that is just my personal opinion. That is just how I evaluate this particular situation, this matchup right here. Neither one of these individuals have a even mediocre ceiling inside the UFC. You understand what I'm saying to you? If the Lion was able to come out of this one victorious over the Baltic Gladiator, that really does not necessarily allow me to gauge where his ceiling's going to be inside the UFC, because the Baltic Gladiator, at the tier he's been on, it's been a roller coaster for him. You understand what I'm saying to you? So, if I'm not mistaken, you know what I mean? It's been a roller coaster of the road for old boy at the level that he's been at. You know what I'm saying? You know, Andreas, you lose to Jimmy Crute, McCall, and Khalil Roundtree. I ain't mad at the Khalil Roundtree. Jimmy Crute, I'm not high on that guy. McCall, you beat Tyson Pedro and Zach Polga, and you beat Marcin Prachnio. You lose to Vitor Petrino. I kind of feel like, you know, beating Tyson Pedro, beating Zach Polga, beating Marcin Prachnio. You're going to beat Hafel, however you say old boy's name as well. He beats the individuals he's supposed to beat. And, you know, I guess you can say he loses to the one he's supposed to lose to. I don't know that the Lion's going to be able to find his chin cleanly to catch him, clip him, and disconnect him from his consciousness. But, and I definitely don't think he's going to be able to get him down to the ground and place him into a compromisable position to find a submission. So, it is what it is. It's a fight that I want absolutely nothing to do with. You know what I mean? But, Modestus, he's the pick. You know what I'm talking about? Moving on. Another fight that I want absolutely nothing to do with. You know, these cards are Dana White Contender Series episodes, if we're being honest, for the most part. They're almost kind of like tough finales, where you get all these fighters from off of the tough show, you know what I mean, competing against each other, and then your main, co-main, and maybe your co-main are actually names. You know what I'm talking about? The name values at the top of the card, and the rest of it's kind of just a bunch of prospects. That's what this shit is. That's what it's been as of lately. That's what it's going to be on quite a few of these cards incoming this year due to the overload of prospects from all of these shows that open the door for all these lower level individuals to get into the UFC. It did not used to be like that. It used to be the pinnacle of the sport, the Super Bowl of mixed martial arts. Like, if you weren't of a certain level of opposition, you were not competing in here. And if you happen to, you know, weasel your way in, and we see you get in that octagon, and, you know what I mean, we find out that you're not really built like that, you're the fuck up out of here, man. You know, it's not like that anymore. You know what I'm talking about? They flooded the gates with Dana White Contender Series season after season, road to the UFC, looking for a fighter, the tough show, you know, that was one thing, and I was cool with that, man, but all this extra shit has allowed all these individuals to get the Dana White Contender Series with undefeated, you know, records, but they've been accumulated up against just unlegitimate levels of opposition. You know what I'm talking about? Somebody's gonna win, and that individual gets into the UFC, and then we're all surprised when that individual loses after they're done fighting all of these other prospects, because normally when they get into the UFC, they end up fighting somebody from Dana White Contender Series on another season, or road to the UFC, or looking for a fighter, or some kind of other, you know, gate that was opened for these lower levels of prospects to get in here, man. You know what I mean? I know I went off track, but it is what it is. I don't have a whole lot to say about this fight, so fuck it. We talking about that real quick. That shit irks me, man. The level of opposition just isn't the same. These statistics really can't be argued, man. You know what I mean? Because they've been accumulated up against levels of opposition that aren't high and aren't legitimate. But it is what it is, man. I'm done. My bad. I apologize, y'all. Damn, I almost gave myself a headache. You know what I'm talking about? I gotta light this motherfucker up now, man. The Baltic Gladiator, to get it done in some way, shape, form, or fashion over the Lion. Abdul Malik Mansour, however it's said, to be the one to get it done in some way, shape, form, or fashion over the bull Nick Klein, with all due respect. And Nick Klein's probably one of the biggest dogs on the card at plus 410. Mansour's a minus 560. I've seen that young man as high as, was it him or somebody? I seen somebody as high as 7-something on this card in other areas. You know what I mean? This is just, you know, this is the lines I'm guessing that they opened up at, because this is on Tapology. That's what I'm looking at right now while I'm chopping it up with y'all. I'm going over this, you know, the Tapology lineup. You know what I'm talking about? But, boy, oh boy. Minus 560 for him, minus 325 for the Baltic Gladiator. These money lines, man. It looks like a Dana White Contender Series episode as far as the money lines as well. You know what I'm talking about? Nick Klein, nicknamed Blue Collar. Mansour Abdul Malik don't have a fucking nickname. He said, "You're gonna remember my name." It is what it is, man. You know, Nick is 6'1", 29 years old, 6'1" with a 77-inch reach. Mansour, 27 years old, you know, 6'2" with an 80-inch reach. So there's no, we're not gonna talk about the age. We ain't gonna talk about the height and the reach. It's just a three-inch difference. And I know the boy Mansour, you know, he's looked fucking magnificent as of yet. That in my personal opinion, is gonna go at some time, but it's just about when's it gonna go, who's gonna be the one to take it from him, and is the individual standing on the other side of him when we're having the conversation the one that's gonna be the one to take it from him. I personally don't believe it's in the cards for Nick Klein to do so, man. I think it's in the cards for Mansour to hurt this young man, unfortunately. So Mansour, oh boy, Malik is the fucking pick. You know what I mean? Moving on, we have Ricky Simone taking on Javid Basharat. Fuck these lines, man. I guess Ricky opened as a plus 230 dog, rightfully so, for the slope he's been on. I mean, I don't know. I think it should have been a little bit closer. Javid opened as a minus 285. And, you know, if I'm not mistaken, he's coming off a loss. Javid's one of them Basharat brothers, and much like the Bonfim brothers, I'm not really high on them. More so down on one side than I am on the other. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Basharat just caught that motherfucking L to Amin Zahabi. I mean, you can't be mad at it, but you know, nobody attempted no takedowns. They was just standing out, you know, or if any takedowns were attempted, none were secured. I was over here looking at the stats real quick. You know what I mean? If I pull up this motherfucking, just this little fight real quick. And I could probably motherfucking see if anybody went for any of them takedowns. But either way you look at it, man, you know, Ricky's going to be going for the takedowns, man. Ricky is going to be going for the takedowns. You got a 44% takedown accuracy going up against an 85% takedown defense in Basharat. Basharat, you know, definitely puts out more volume on the feet. They striking defense is relatively the same at 61 and 62%. The accuracy is 43 for Ricky and 53 for Javid. And on average, Javid lands about 5.42 strikes per minute, while Ricky's landing about 2. Same reach. No significant difference in the age. The only significant difference in this matchup is the level of opposition that these individuals have been competing against. This one's a motherfucker for me, man. Because all Javid has to do, you know, but see, Vinicius landing 96 significant strikes, man. Bautista landing 112 significant strikes. Sung Yadong's landing 105 significant strikes. You know, when they're you know, getting these decisions over Ricky. Javid's losing. He's landing 67 against Amin Zahabi, and Amin's landing 75. Like, he wins against Matus, Madonka. That's why I put his two names together. I try to call him Matus Mundonka, whatever, Mundonka. You know what I mean? He has not cracked the 100 significant strikes, man. You know what I mean? And when folks try to work them takedowns in, he's definitely not cracking it. And that might be the difference, because, you know, Ricky can stay, he can stay relatively close as far as the volume is concerned, while still trying to implement the wrestling and grappling. He's competed at a higher level for a lot longer, man. You know what I mean? Gilly, Marab-Dwashvili, Montel, like, he came into the UFC, boy, oh boy. Marab and then Montel, come on, man. That's two good names that have on the list. Then you know, you drop to Uriah and Rob. Fucking cares about Ray Borg, motherfucking Perillo, Brian Kelleher and Rafael Sunsell. Fuck a Jack Shore. And then there's Sung Yadong, man. You know what I mean? And the list goes on. Old boy just ain't had it like that. You know what I mean? Trevin Jones, what's that, 5-star or whatever they called his little punk ass Trevin Jones. Tony Gravely, Madonka. No contest with Victor Henry, then you lose to Amin Zahabi, which isn't a bad loss, but I'm just saying, man. This is a messy one for me. We gonna come back to that one, because that's a messy one for me, man. I ain't gonna hold you, man. Not sure what the money line is on this one. You know what I'm talking about? We got Razibov, Nursultan, Ruzibov. Hopefully this fight goes. The other Ruzibov couldn't make it to fight Jared Gordon. Baby bitch ass pulled out at the last minute. 34-9-2 for Nursultan. Eric 9-2-1. 31. 6'5" with a 76-inch reach for Nursultan. 34. 6 foot with a 75-inch reach for Eric. Both of these motherfuckers really don't know what it's like. They just get it done. If I'm not mistaken, man. Like, they get it, they just get it the fuck done. You know what I'm saying? Round 1. There was a round 3 for him. Round 1. Round 3 for him. Round 1. Round 3. Round 2. All right, he's a little bit more, you know. Nursultan is just like round 1, round 1, round 1, round 1, round 2, round 1, round 1, round 1, round 2, round 1. You know what I mean? Nursultan's record is fucking ridiculous. Now, with that being said, for the most part, they're getting this, you know, this work done against a, you know, a different level of opposition than what is over here in the UFC. There is not a high ceiling for either one of these young men in the UFC. I'm not going to just, you know, run Nursultan through the mud because he came in here and he, you know, I think he caught Bruno Ferreira's leg. Like, he caught Bruno Ferreira's kick and ran down the fucking pipe on him and just folded him the fuck up and got the TKO. And then that was Cedric. Now, Bruno was the counter, right? Yeah, Bruno, he caught, boom. Then he uppercutted Cedricus Dumas. And then Joaquin Buckley. Everybody's really kind of down on him because of the Joaquin Buckley performance. But we have seen what Joaquin Buckley is capable of doing, even to a high level of opposition in this division. This isn't the Joaquin Buckley, you know, that's up there, you know, getting pointed at and shit talked to him and knocked the fuck out by Kevin Holland. You know what I mean? Getting head kicked by the boy Jordan before he gets to, you know, to spin around on Impa Kasaganai and all that. This ain't him. This has been a different one, as we've seen. As what we've seen is what he's done to Kobe and what he's done to every fucking body else. So you got to kind of, you know what I mean, take it a little bit easy on Nursultan, because in my personal opinion, you know, Nursultan's getting this young man out of there in the fucking first round as well. You know what I mean? Nursultan is going to be the pick. There's no money line available for this one yet on here. But whatever it is, I'm solid with it. Nursultan, you know what I mean? That's going to be the motherfucking pick, man. You know what I mean? And I think he gets this one done round 1, round 2. I don't think Eric's going to, you know, survive. And Eric isn't a Joaquin Buckley. I've went and I've watched what I could find, what I could watch in his 9-2 run. The body of work he likes to produce when he's able to implement and get his game going, what he likes to do. And I just think he's going to get caught, clipped, and disconnected. You know what I'm saying? Maybe club and sub. Maybe he's just going to get something snatched up. But that is my personal opinion. This is a volatile situation and a fight that I want absolutely nothing to do with, man. I'm just keeping it a buck with y'all. Fuck these fights, man. We're going to come back to Ricky and Javid. We in the doghouse. We in the doghouse, man. We in the doghouse. We can't just keep, you know, we can't just take the Baltic Gladiator at -325 over the Lion and Mansour Abdul Malik at -560 over, you know, blue collar Nick Klein at +410, and Javid Basharat, the Snow Leopard, at -285 over Ricky Simone's +230. Nah, we didn't do that yet. Look at me just trying to throw that motherfucker in there. We didn't do that yet, so we gonna come back to that one. And then Nursultan at whatever his money line is, and then just keep on taking. Like, I get it, but if I did what everybody else fucking did, man. My pick switches last week, they came back and bit me. You know what I'm talking about? 2 of them did, 1 of them didn't. Nazim did what the fuck Nazim needed to do as a dog. You know what I'm talking about? So salute to Nazim for showing up and doing what the fuck I needed him to do. You know what I'm talking about? Vince Chaos, not so much so, man. You know what I'm talking about? It is what it is, though. You know what I mean? These dogs ain't gonna bark all the time. You know what I mean? But I don't know that I can go against Adam Fugit in this matchup, man. I don't know that I can go against Adam Fugit. And I feel like I was what I was saying was going somewhere, but this motherfucker and all this in front of me, it just kind of went, it went left. So if you on the other side of this motherfucker feeling like I didn't finish what I was saying, I probably fucking didn't. But I'll get back to it when it comes to me. You know what I'm talking about? Because that shit was going somewhere, man. But Adam's a dog, man. Adam's a plus 225 dog. I get it. There's an age, you know, there's a significant age difference. But listen, man, when I tapped back in and I told motherfuckers about possibly securing your back door with Jared Cannonier via KOTK, man, he was an old motherfucker too, man. He's an OG too. Angela Hill out there getting that job done via, you know, decision. She's an OG too, man. So I'm not gonna really, you know, Adam Fugit at 36 is in his prime. Billy Ray Golf at 26, not so much so. Still coming into himself. You know what I'm talking about? And it is what it is, man. It's another one of them fights. You should already know. I want absolutely nothing to do with. Not in any way, shape, form, or fashion. You know what I mean? But listen, man. You know, when you talk about Adam Fugit, 77, 6'1" with a 77-inch reach, southpaw. Billy Ray Golf, 5'10", 72-inch reach, switch stance. You know what I'm saying? Now, Adam, come on, man. He lost to Michael Morales on Dana White Contender Series, if I'm not mistaken. Was that in the UFC? Yeah, that was in the UFC at 277 at his debut. He lost to motherfucking Michael Morales, who is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-0 inside the UFC and just doing his 1-2. Then he beat old boy, who is absolutely nobody and it means nothing. Then he lost to Mike Malott, who was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-1 inside the UFC. Then he beat Josh Quillen, what is nothing to call home about. But I mean, getting in there with Michael Morales, getting in there with Michael Malott, in my personal opinion, you know, is a lot harder than Billy Ray Golf getting in there with Trey Waters. But that's just my personal opinion. I believe Michael Morales to be a higher level of opposition than a Trey Waters. You understand what I'm saying to you? Again, just my personal opinion. One thing has nothing to do with the other. It's all worth consideration, man. You know, and Adam ain't nobody's chump stop, man. You know, I gotta find some dogs on this card. It's absolutely necessary in my personal opinion. You don't have to rock with me on this pick. 6'1", 77-inch reach, you know what I mean? Old boy's 5'10" with a 72-inch reach. The 6'1", the height advantage comes into play for Adam's kicks. Them teeps keeping old boy at bay, the body kicks. The 5-inch in the reach department comes in play for them strikes. Adam Fugit, he's solid, man. He's solid. Billy Ray Golf has a 17% takedown accuracy going up against a 50% takedown defense. I don't know that Billy Ray is going to be able to secure any takedowns against Adam. I think he might find himself in some submission threats attempting to go for takedowns against Adam. You understand what I'm saying to you? So, a fight that I want absolutely nothing to do with. This is prospect versus prospect. I highly suggest that you have nothing to do with this unless the degenerate in you just wants to play. Then, you know, for me, I'm rocking with the dog, man. You know, plus 225. He 36 years old. Old boy 26 years old. I don't give a fuck about none of that. You know what I mean? 6'1", 5'10", 77, 72 and a half. I feel like, you know, Adam's route to 10-4 has been a bit more difficult than Billy Ray Golf's route to 9-3. But that's just me, and that's my personal opinion. Adam is my first dog of the card. Here the fuck we go. Ion versus Ebo, man. The Hulk versus the last Ottoman. Is that how the fuck he's saying that? Excuse me, let me light this up, y'all. It's that gelato cake. You know what I'm talking about? It's that wedding cake mixed with that gelato. Gelato cake be smacking, ringing in at 28.65% THC too. Scream at me. Ion versus Ebo. Fuck this fight. But give me Ebo, man. Give me Ebo. With all due respect to Ion, I might be on the wrong side of this one. You know what I'm talking about? I may be on the wrong side of this one. Much like I felt, you know, for about 72 hours leading into fight night last night that I was on the wrong side with Gregory Rodriguez, man. Much why I had to, you know, get that plus 310 for Jared Cannonier to get it done via KO TKO. I wouldn't be surprised if the Hulk got this one done. Ebo, he 14-1, right? With 14 knockouts, if I'm not mistaken. Like, he just goes in there and gets it done, too. You know what I mean? Now, oh boy, that loss, that is something to frown about. No wins on his record or anything to call home about. But that loss is something to frown about. That's the Pleasure Man, right? Anton fucking Pleasure Man got him up out. Ain't that about a bitch? And Ion Cutelaba, man. I wonder if he's going to come out painted green like the Hulk. He has 13 knockouts in his own right with 2 submissions and 3 decisions. And I would not be surprised if he came out here and, you know, in an attempt to wrestle Ebo. Get him down to the ground for the ground and pound like he did to Tanner Bozer, or search for the submission. But something tells me, much like Kennedy and Chuck Will, or Johnny Walker, or Ryan Spann, these other long-limbed individuals that he's gotten in there with that possess power in their hands and can crack, that he's going to get caught, he's going to get clipped, and he's going to get disconnected from his consciousness. So for a fight that I want absolutely nothing to do with, Ebo's the pick. Moving on. Andre, here we go. We got to pick him. Now, this is going to boost the money line for whatever side you on. You have to be in love with this money line. -110, pick them. In my personal opinion, that's how most of the cards should have been, that we just ran the fuck up because they're all contenders. They're all, I mean, not contenders, they're all prospect versus prospects. You know what I'm talking about? And none of them have been tested against legitimate or high levels of opposition for us to be arguing their statistics, or for us to even think that they will or will not justify these price tags. It's just, all this shit is unarguable in my personal opinion. But this fight here, I love this fight right here. Touchy Philly, Andre Touchy Philly versus the Bro, I can't pronounce his first name. I can't pronounce his nickname, so we just calling him Costa, man. Like, I can pronounce his last name, not his first name. I believe Milk might be the first part of his nickname, but I ain't even gonna get in to try to disrespect the second part of his nickname. So Andre Philly versus the Bull Costa, man. Give me Philly, man. Give me Andre to get this one done via unanimous decision. 2 rounds to 1, and I really wouldn't be surprised if he found a finish inside the distance, you know. Maybe a club and sub type of situation. Maybe just catching, clipping, and disconnecting. He ain't locked up no submissions in the UFC, huh? He's only been submitted way back when by Max Holloway and Godfredo. Ain't that about a bitch? Yeah, everything else just been catching, clipping, and disconnecting jokers from their consciousness. You know what I'm talking about? Or getting caught, clipped, and disconnected from his consciousness. That was a great fight, man, as far as a legacy fight for him in his last fight against Cub Swanson, getting the dub over Cub Swanson in a highly competitive and closely contested matchup. It was good to see, man. It was good to see them 2 boys in there having fun, doing what they do best. So maybe I'm just biased, maybe it's me. But I think at 34, Touchy Philly's in his prime, and at 28 for Costa, he's coming into his prime. I just don't know if the best, or what is shaping and developing into be the best version of Costa version of Costa beats the best version of Philly, much like Ketlin and Angie. You know, prime time Angie, even if she's at the end and you know, looking like she's going to be exiting her prime soon, I don't know that, and Ketlin was entering her prime, I don't know that, you know, Ketlin's best can beat Angie's best, and I feel the same here. I feel this might be a split decision type situation if Touchy Philly doesn't, you know, find the finish inside the distance, man. And old boy's been knocked out twice, and he's been submitted twice. You know what I'm talking about? And Philly got 10 knockout wins and 3 submission wins. I could see the club and sub incoming. I could just see the catching, clipping, and disconnecting from his consciousness. I could see a back and forth war where they both have their moments. Fight of the night type shit. Performance of the night to the winner type shit. You know what I mean? I like Andre Philly in his spot though, so it's a pick'em. There is no favorite, at least not right here. And I'm rocking with Andre Philly. Moving on, we have Alonzo Atomic Menifield taking on Julius Juice Boy. Oh, Juice Box Walker. You know I'm fucking with Juice Box, man. Fuck it. Fuck it, man. There's no money lines for this, y'all. Juice Box is 6-0 with 4 knockouts and 2 submissions. And you know, it is what it is, man. We've seen Bevon Lewis inside the UFC. So when he pounded out Bevon Lewis, it's not like he had a run. We've seen Myron Dennis's 20-11 inside the UFC, if I'm not mistaken, way back when. Funny looking motherfucker. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, Ultimate Fighter Season 23 and shit like that. He was in there. I knew I wasn't tripping. I knew that motherfucker from somewhere. You know what I mean? But, you know, it is what it is. He's put down a couple motherfuckers that were put down and put out. He's put down a couple motherfuckers en route to the UFC that were already put down and put out of the UFC. You know what I'm talking about? He's 6-0. He's undefeated. That O's gonna go at some time. That's inevitable. Is old boy Juice Box gonna let Alonzo Menifield be the one to take it from him, man? Knocked out by America, knocked out by motherfucking Los. Got the dub on Jacoby and Crute and Crute. Fuck the Crute and Crute. Fuck Misha Sergenov. Fuck my lost to William Knight. That's sad. Ed Herman, if I'm not mistaken, that was a close fucking fight. That fight with Ed Herman. Fabio, get the fuck up out of here. Devin, like, yeah, man. Fucking. Nothing jumps off the page about that ball, man. I had to run it back and reiterate this shit, man. But it's, you know what I mean? You got the joint over Paul Craig, but it is what it is. Devin Clark, you lose to. That's not a good look. Ovin St. Preux in 2020, I won't hold that on you too bad. You beat Fabio, but so the fuck did everybody else. Ed Herman, and that shit was close. I remember that fucking fight, man. I remember that fight. If I'm not mistaken, that Ed Herman fight was fucking close, man. But you got that one. William Knight got you up out of there. That's fucking sad, man. Jimmy, and Dustin. Yeah, I don't know, man. Something about Juice Box, man, has me wanting to roll the dice on him, man. 4 knockouts, 2 submissions. Atomic has his share of knockouts and submissions. Old boy likes to get it done round 1, round 1, round 1, round 2, round 1, round 1. Ay, I don't like that, though. Maybe if he beats this one, where's he fighting? Where they are? They a light heavyweight. He can't fight in their Sultan. He got a record like their Sultan. 81, 6'4", 25. 12-year youth advantage, 4-inch height advantage, 5-inch reach advantage. What the experience advantage is on the Menifield side. Let me come back to Juice Box, man, because I'm solid on the rest of these picks, and then we'll run back here to Ricky and Old Boy and Juice Box and Atomic. You know what I'm talking about? Gene Silva versus Melsick. Oh, Minus 575 on the money line for Gene. I do not like that. He's the one. Minus 7 something. I saw him at minus 7. So it was fucking Gene. And I hate that, man. I hate that because it's one of my most confident picks on the card, man. You know what I'm talking about? With all due respect to Melsick, it is one of my most confident picks on the card. I know both his losses come inside the distance via submission. You understand what I'm saying to you? And, you know, Gene has 2 wins via submission. Most of them come via catching, clipping, and disconnecting from somebody from their consciousness as far as inside the distance goes. You understand what I'm saying to you? But I can see him just, you know, producing an all-around better body of work over the course of 15 minutes. You know what I mean? To go ahead and secure this one via unanimous decision if he doesn't find a finish, because old boy is proven to be, you know, tough, relatively tough on the feet. You know what I'm talking about? Respectable numbers everywhere. And, you know, the loss to Josh Cooley about, man, like, I fuck with Josh, but, you know, Josh ain't that guy, man. I fucks with him, but he's not that guy. And the people that he's beaten, and Gene's little run already since coming into the UFC, dropping motherfucking, you know, Charles Jourdain and Drew Dober. Those 2 names alone are better than anything Melsick's done in his few fights. You feel me? It's Gene for me. It's Gene all day, every day, even on Sunday when I'm cashing them motherfucking tickets. The guy that Gene plays up in them, man. And unfortunately, now listen, with all due respect to Rob Font, because everybody knows I was heavy on Rob Font when he fought Kyler Phillips. I cashed with him as a plus 390, a plus 410, a plus 370. I had him wrapped up in multiple tickets. He cashed as a dog, and rightfully so. I do not believe that that's going to be the case in this matchup with Gene Matsumoto. So with all due respect to, you know, Rob Font, this is, again, much like Kyler Phillips, this is Gene's biggest step up as far as levels of opposition are concerned. And at 37 years old, I do not believe that Rob Font is exiting his prime. I believe that he proved to us in his last matchup where he cashed as a dog for us that he is still very much so in his prime. You understand what I'm saying to you? And can compete, you know, at this level. I mean, you look at you're losing to Davis and Figueiredo, Corey Sandhagen, Marlon Vera, and Jose Aldo on the cards. You know what I'm talking about? But when these Adrian Yanez's and these Kyler Phillips and these Marlon Moraleses, when these, you know, prospects want to step up, you turn them the fuck around. Rightfully so, and you do what you're supposed to do. So I'm siding with Gene Matsumoto in this matchup, but I will have Rob is, I'm sure he's going to be an underdog. There's no line available here. I would like to believe that he's going to be an underdog, even though he just turned around. I mean, the proof is there. This is why we went with him when he fought Kyler Phillips. Like, he beats Ricky Simone, he beats Marlon Moraes, he beats Cody Garbrandt. Jose Aldo's the fucking ex-featherweight fucking king. Marlon Chito Vera, you know what I mean? Like, this is who he loses unanimous decisions to, but then you give him a prospect who looks good in Adrian Yanez, and he gets that guy the fuck up out of there. Then Corey Sandhagen and Davison Figueroa, but then you give him Kyler Phillips, another prospect who looks good, and he gets him the fuck up out of there. You understand what I'm saying to you? Like, Rob Font is not to be slept on in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I am just really high on the Gene Matsumoto side of things. I believe that Gene can come out here and make this fight look very much like Gabriel Santos made his fight just look with Jack over there in Sydney or wherever it was that they just had that fight at. You know what I'm talking about? I feel like he's going to come out here and he's going to find a finish inside the distance over Rob Font, or at the very least, he's going to beat him via unanimous decision. It's going to be unfucking deniable. I just think this is a very bad stylistic matchup for him. You know what I'm talking about? And why I'm not high on Rob Font or any of them guys from his squad in any way, shape, form, or fashion. You know what I'm talking about? I cannot deny the fact that this is the highest level of opposition that Gene has ever had to face. And Rob has made it his business to turn these prospects the fuck around. So, you know, proceed with extreme caution. It's a confident pick for me, Gene. That's where my confident picks start, you know what I mean? And then we going to go here to the next one. So Gene's the pick. Proceed with extreme caution if you feel absolutely necessary, and apply a dog play to Rob Font if you feel absolutely necessary, just off of principle and out of respect, and for the fact that he has cashed for me as a significant dog, the biggest dog on the card in the past in his last fight. I will place a single bet on him to get it done, you know, in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I'll figure that out when the props drop. But Gene Matsumoto is the pick, and Gene Matsumoto to get it done. You know, I don't want to disrespect Rob and say relatively easy, but relatively easy, man. Inside the distance via KO, TKO, or a club and sub type situation, or just by getting him down, putting him in a compromisable position and finding a submission. Brendan Allen versus Anthony Hernandez. This one was rough for me on the fact that I like both individuals, man. You know what I mean? Both of these young men are very solid. Both of these young men are very well-rounded. Both of these young men have respectable resumes. Both of these young men are not to be slept on. Both of these young men are to be respected, man. You know what I mean? Got a nobody on the contender series for Brendan. And you get, you know, you choke out Kevin Holland, knock out Tom Breeze, decision Kyle Dawkins, you lose to Sean Strickland, choke out or you ankle lock motherfucking Carl Roberson, you get Puna Helly, you lose the motherfucking Chris Curtis, you get Sam Alvey, Malkoon, Jocdo, Andre Muniz, Bruno Silva, Paul Craig, then you get back on Chris Curtis and you lose to Nasruddin Imavov, man. You can't say nothing bad about that young man's resume. You know what I'm talking about? He's done what's needed to be done. You know, that Jordan Wright no contest on the Contender Series and that loss to Marcus Perez is absolutely horrendous to have on your fucking record. Marcus Perez is a fucking bum, in my personal opinion. And what was he? 1-2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 inside the UFC. I just didn't like him, so that's a horrible loss. Young Park, and you lose to Kevin Holland. Adolfo Vieira in the submission that just wasn't supposed to happen, the submission that was heard about and everybody was talking about. Josh Frem, Marc-Andre Barriou, Edmund Shabazian, Roman Kofilov, and Michel Pereira, man. Listen, one can argue that Brendan Allen's been up it. It's not even an argument, it's facts. He's fought the Sean Stricklands. He beat Kevin Holland, where old boy got beat by Kevin Holland. He fought Chris Curtis twice. He fought Sean Strickland. He fought motherfucking, you know, Nasruddin Imavov, Bruno Silva, Andre Muniz for what it's worth. Jocdo and Mount. Like, he's had a rougher go at it, man, and he's found a way to get it done. You know what I'm talking about? This one here is rough, man. This one here is rough. This one here is rough. I'm rocking with Fluff. I'm a rock with Fluff with all due respect to Brendan Allen. I'm a rock with Fluff. It's tough. It's tough to do. You know what I mean? Brendan's what? Been knocked out twice and lost via submission once. Fluff knocked out once and lost via submission once. Like, this is a dangerous fucking game right here. This one right here, this is messy, man. This is messy because it's one of those situations where, you know, if they don't engage in the wrestling and grappling and in the jiu-jitsu departments, you understand what I'm saying, to you, out of, you know, fear of the submission threat, or if they do engage and don't like what they feel in that engagement, so they disengage and don't go back to that part of the game, and this one just plays out on the feet, I believe Anthony Hernandez to be the more dangerous individual out of the two. I believe that, you know, yeah, and it shows. He's going to slightly edge him in the volume, 4.9 landed per minute, 3.7 for Brendan, 53 accuracy for Brendan, 63 accuracy for Anthony. Both got a 75-inch reach. Brendan 6'2", 65% takedown at defense for motherfucking Hernandez, 39% accuracy for Brendan, 58% defense for Brendan, 44% accuracy for Anthony, but Anthony goes for about 6 6'4" on average per 15 minutes, while Brendan's only going for 1. I think the mix-up, you know what I'm talking about? The mix-up of the body of work is what's going to, you know, cause Brendan Allen problems. And I wouldn't be surprised if Fluffy knocked him the fuck out, club and subbed him, or just found a way to drag this one the fuck out. You know what I'm talking about? But Fluff is the pick, man. Fluff is the pick, and then we have the main event. And what do I need to do? I need to come on down here to Julius Juice Box and Ricky and Javid Bashrat. I said Juice Boxing. Call that boy Jabba. Moving on, man. Henry Cejudo versus Sung Yadong. Triple C is back for what it's worth as a plus. Oh, my bad. Brendan Allen is a plus 225 dog, and Fluffy is a minus 285 favorite. You know what I'm talking about? There was no money line for the Rob and Gene Matsumoto. My bad. Henry Cejudo is a plus 220 underdog, and Sung Yadong is a minus 270 favorite. We took Peter. We took Piotr Yan, however you say Yan's name. We took him against Sung Yadong. We had Sung Yadong against motherfucking man. Yeah, I'm not high on this guy, man. Not high on him, man. But that's just me. You know what I mean? And to each their own, man. To each their own. You beat Philippe, you beat Vince, you beat Alejandro. A draw to Cody, that's kind of corny. You know what I'm talking about? You beat Marlon. Salute to you, but then you lose to Kyler Phillips. You beat Casey Kenny, who, you know, at the time, that was a good win. That was a good win. Didn't prove to be that, you know, so much so, I guess, later on, but it was a good win. Julio Arce is a good win. Especially on that timeline. You know what I'm talking about? Julio Arce is a good win. Lose to Cody, lose to Jan, you beat Chris, you beat Ricky. It is what it is, man. It is what it is for Sung Yadong. I'm just not high on him. And he be dyeing his hair all stupid, too. Henry Cejudo, man, you lost to Merab Dwashvili and Aljamain Sterling because, listen, my guy, they could out-grapple you. Unfortunately, Merab out-wrestled the gold medalist wrestler and the gold medal Olympic level wrestler. Merab went crazy on takedowns in that fight, man. But it is what it is, man. I like Henry Cejudo, man, for what it's worth. I ain't so high on his attitude and all that, but he's kind of grown on me since he's been out of the sport. You don't watch him talk about the sport. You understand what I'm saying to you? But fuck Chico and fuck Juicy A. But you lose to Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson and Joseph Benavidez in a split decision. You know, ain't nothing wrong to losing to Joseph Benavidez back in 2016, man. Joey B was that guy. You know what I'm talking about? Then you beat Willem Reyes, Sergio Perez, Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, TJ Dillashaw, Marlon Moraes, Dominic Cruz, and you lose to Aljo, and you lose to Merab. I'm not going to run you through the mud for that. I'm going to take you as a dog in the main event. That's what I'm going to do. I want that plus 220 on Henry Cejudo. You know what I'm talking about? You can give me that all day, man. I'll take it. I'll take it. Fucking right, I'll take it. Anybody, don't nobody got to take it with me, but I'll take it. I'll take it, man, just to get out there and find a way to mix it up. Sung Yadong doesn't go for the takedowns. You know what I'm talking about? Sung Yadong doesn't. He don't go for this shit like an Aljo and a motherfucking Merab, man. You know what I mean? He don't do that shit. That's the shit that caused him problems, man. You know what I'm saying? That's the shit that caused him problems. I don't know that Sung Yadong can really cause him problems. Merab went for like so many takedowns, locked up 5 of them. Aljo went for so many takedowns, locked up 4 of them. Dom didn't. You know what I mean? Marlon didn't. TJ didn't. Demetrius, he went for, a few of them and he locked up 1 in their second fight. But Henry got those takedowns. In the Pettis fight, Henry got them takedowns. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Henry been away for a minute, since the Merab loss. He was away for a bit that he came back and he had the Aljo and the Merab loss. So I get it. Why individuals, might be down on him on some old, he's done. He's washed up. Flush him the fuck up out of here, Sung Yadong, and let that be that with that. Give him 1 more loss, back to back on comebacks, and let that be that with that. You know what I'm talking about? And if that happens, man, that sucks for him. And it sucks for me, because, he's going to be one of my picks this week, man. I'm going to fuck with him. I'm going to fuck with him because I believe Triple C can implement his wrestling and grappling on the Kung Fu Kid. And I believe based off of their physicalities and their frames, the way they match up at 5'4" and 5'8", that Triple C is going to be able to find the hit. Based off of their physical frames, how they match up at 5'4" for Triple C and 5'8" for the Kung Fu Kid, and the the wrestling and grappling possessed and the entries possessed by Triple C, I think he's going to be able to find the hips a bit easier. Because Sung Yadong, the Kung Fu Kid, doesn't possess the offensive or defensive wrestling and grappling of a Merab Dvalishvili or Aljamain Sterling. Plus, he's not the one pushing the wrestling and grappling in this matchup. Merab was pushing the wrestling and grappling. Aljo was pushing the wrestling and grappling on this wrestler to overwhelm this wrestler in his own department and get the best of him by frustrating him and, drowning him out. Sung Yadong is not going to do that. Sung Yadong is going to be the, try to be the more technical practitioner on the feet, picking his shots, pet. But when all of that's getting stopped by Henry Cejudo getting in on those fucking hips and trying to take him for a motherfucking ride, you understand what I'm saying to you? I don't know. I think it's just not going to go, minus 270 for the Kung Fu Kid, Sung Yadong, plus 220 for Triple C, Henry Cejudo. Just don't think it's going to look like that. If anything, these lines might be reversed mid-fight, and Henry Cejudo might be sitting at minus 270, 300, and Sung Yadong, the Kung Fu Kid, might be sitting at like plus 220, 240. You feel what I'm saying to you? That's just me. That's my personal opinion. That's the way I look at the situation, man. You could look at it totally different, and that's okay. Tap in. We'll talk about it. We'll chop it up. That's what this shit is all about, man. You know what I'm talking about? It is what it is. We feel how we feel, and we stand on that shit. You know what I'm talking about? And when fight night comes, all questions get answered. You know what I mean? And it's all good, man. I'm okay with being on the wrong, on the opposite side of where most individuals are. You know what I mean? And I know that's where I might find myself with some of these picks, like Adam Fugit against Billy Ray Golf. I might find myself over there, while a lot of folk find themselves over here with Billy Ray Golf. And that's all right, man. If I did what everybody else did, then what the fuck would we, have to talk about? What would there be for y'all to tap in and tell me about and chop it up with me about and tell me about? Nah, man, well, listen, I respect it, but I feel like this and I feel like that. And then I tap in and we get to going back and forth, man, and we have a good conversation. That's what this shit is all about. And if I just did what everybody else did and picked what everybody else picked, you know what I'm talking about? Then we'd had nothing to talk about. And I'd have been on Ketlin instead of Angie. Or I'd have been on this one instead of that one. You know what I'm talking about? And I like the back and forths. I like giving us something to talk about. And you mix that with the fact that I just like who the fuck I like. I'm going to stand on that shit. It's a fight and we going to see what happens. That's the beauty in this shit, man. So I'm locked in on Henry Cejudo. It's the main event, though. You know what I'm talking about? If we talking about betting and we talking about parlaying, the swap out option I would say is necessary, you know. But I like Henry Cejudo, man. I like him as an underdog, and that's just that with that. I think he's at 5'4" to Sung Yadung's 5'8" with the wrestling credentials that he possesses. And, you know, as hungry as he is on a two-fight skid, I think this is a very good stylistic matchup for him. I think they're both going to have their moments, but I think the Henry moments where he picks him up and Matt uses him across the octagon and dumps him on his fucking back, and even if he doesn't get a whole lot of motherfucking control time off of that, but gets some, you know, gets that good takedown and gets some good work and some good shots off while Sung Yadung's on his way back up and stays active and keeps the striking, you know, highly competitive and closely contested. It's the mixture of the body of work with the wrestling that's going to edge it. You know what I'm talking about? So I like Henry, man. You know what I'm talking about? And I like Fluffy, you know. Fluffy's a minus 285 favorite to all-ins, plus 225 underdog. But I like Fluffy, and unfortunately for Brendan, all in, I like Fluffy to get him out of there inside the distance via KO, TKO, or via submission from a club and sub type situation. But I do like Fluffy in this matchup. I like Gene Matsumoto. Unfortunately for Rob Font, this is Gene's biggest step as far as levels of opposition that he's been competing against are concerned. And with that being said, there will be a principal play on Rob Font, you know what I'm talking about, via decision, whatever that money line is, via decision in the method section. I will put a sprinkle on it off of principle and out of respect of the level of opposition he's been competing against. Gene Matsumoto is the pick, though. Gene Silva is the pick over Melsick. Andre Philly is the pick over Costa. Ebo is the pick over Ion. Adam is the pick as the dog over Billy Ray Golf. Nurse Sultan is the pick over Eric. No money line available. Mansoor is the pick over Nick. And Modestus is the pick over Hafel. Now we have Javid and Ricky to talk about. And we have Alonzo and Julius to talk about. So remember this. Remember this shit right here. Remember this, that we had to come back to Alonzo Menafield, Atomic, and Julius Walker, the juice box. Remember that. And remember that we had to come back to Ricky Simone and the snow leopard, Javid Basharat. Remember them two facts, man. I only say that because I want absolutely nothing to do with a lot of these fights, but the fact that we came back and had to come back to these two fights just lets you know that I want to be so far away from these motherfuckers. You understand what I'm talking about? Unless we talking about haymakers or Hail Marys. And I don't even know that I'm going to have too much of that going on this card. But I am here. You know what I'm talking about? I'm going to be around. I'm going to be on deck. And the parlay video will be incoming next. You know what I'm talking about? For the prelims, for the whole card, for the main card. As soon as these money lines all drop, I'm going to cook that motherfucker up for you. And we gonna rock. We going to profit this week, man. You know what I'm talking about? What, we 5 weeks in, if I'm not mistaken. And, you know, we was in the top slot #1 for the first 3 weeks, back to back to back, as far as profits concerned. And I'm going to get y'all motherfuckers there again this week. You know what I'm talking about? So it's going to be no swap out. I mean, it's going to be no pick switching. It's going to be no light adjustments. That's why I got this motherfucker busted wide open right here in front of me right now. I'm about to light this motherfucker back up. I got another roll up right the fuck there if need be necessary. And I'll roll another motherfucker up and burn that motherfucker down. We gonna find the right side. You understand what I'm saying to you? We gonna find the right side, man. These motherfuckers here. Alonzo Menafield and Julius motherfucking Juice Box Walker. What you gonna do, Juice Box? Huh? The fuck you gonna do, Juice Box? You gonna let that motherfucker Alonzo Menafield land an atomic bomb on you? Give you your first loss inside the distance via KO, TKO? From catching, clipping, and disconnecting you from your consciousness? See, what I like about this kid, though, is he might have 4 knockouts and 2 submissions, but this knockout is ground and pound. The submission is rear naked choke. He tapped out through the strikes, ground and pound, triangle arm choke, ground and pound, ground and pound. He's taking this motherfucker to the ground. You understand what I'm saying to you? He is trying to get this motherfucker to the ground, and he's trying to get this one done inside the distance via submission or via KO, TKO. If he can't put you in a compromisable position, he'll just pound you out from top position. Like, he's not trying to play around with this motherfucker on the feet in the striking department to give him the opportunity to, you know, like, he putting jokers down. I don't know if he's scooping them and dumping them, or if he's cracking them, catching them, and then just following up on them with the ground and pound. You know what I mean? Fuck it, man. We gonna rock with him. We gonna rock with Julius Walker's gonna be our Taliesin Tex terror this week. You know what I mean? We gonna rock with Julius the way we rock with Taliesin, to go ahead and get Alonzo up out of here the way Taliesin got Taffa the fuck up out of here, man. Give me Juice Box, man. Give me Juice Box, man. No money line available. I don't know if he an underdog. I don't know what's up with Juice Box, but give me Julius Walker. Give me Julius Walker to come in here and motherfucking make it shake for us. Huh? Now, mind you, this is prelim. Oh, this is a main card. So if this is kicking off the main card, if this stays on the main card, when I see that final layout and I do this parlay video, then this could be like a main card parlay trying to do, you know, all 5 or 6, however many fights is going to be on the main card. You know, a little haymaker, trying to sweep the whole main card type situation. We can involve this fight. Maybe when you do that, you want to apply a swap out option. But it is, you know, it is what it is, man. To each their own. I'm going to rock with Juice Box, man. Give me Juice Box, man. Give me Juice Box Julius Walker, man. Ricky Simone! Ricky! What you gonna do, Ricky? Huh? What the fuck are you gonna do, Ricky? Am I gonna pick against you? And you gonna come the fuck out here and go absolutely Benini with the takedowns and just lock up and secure them 2 and 3 in every fucking round and drag this snow leopard out, man? The fuck is you gonna do, Ricky? The fuck are you gonna do? Because I'm not high on these Bashrat brothers, man. What the fuck are you gonna do? I'm not high on them Bonfim brothers, and I found myself on the wrong side of one of them motherfuckers, man. Huh? Had I not pick switched, I'd have found myself on the wrong side of both of them, though. That Nazim pick came through at plus 170. Boop, bow, bip. You know what I'm talking about? And then the plus money number he was at for the KO, TKO. You know what I mean? Listen, man. But just because I'm not high on these motherfuckers don't mean they ain't going to get it done, man. Much like Gabe went in there and got Chaos out inside the distance via submission. First time Chaos ever lost inside the distance. And Gabe ain't fuck with him. You know what I'm talking about? What you gonna do, Ricky? Javid, what the fuck are you gonna do, bro? You know what I mean? What the fuck are you gonna do, though? That's what I need to know, man. American top team over there in Portland. Extreme Couture. Like, these is 2 very respectable teams, man. Vancouver, Washington. This thing's in Seattle, Washington. You the hometown boy and you the underdog, Ricky Simone. Are you gonna come out there and try to show off? Man? Is he gonna come out here and try to show off and just snap out? Huh? Oh, man. This one got me, man. Cause I don't know if he gonna come out here and just try to show off and, this guy gonna lock up fucking 6, 7, 8 out of, 13, 14, or 15 takedowns and just find himself on the right side of a split decision. Or if this guy's gonna come out here and not be able to find these takedowns, and Javid stuff is a majority of the incoming takedowns to keep the fight upright and produce the better body of work over the course of 15 minutes. He puts out 5.42 strikes. He lands on average per minute 5.42 strikes. Ricky, 2.99 at a 43%, Javid at a 53%. Ricky gets hit with 3.84, 61% defense though. Javid get hit with 2.97 at a 62% defense. Ricky's going for 5, locking up 5 takedowns over the course of 15 minutes. Javid won. 44% accuracy for Ricky. 40% accuracy for Javid, but that 44% accuracy going against the 85% defense. But how legitimate is that 85% defense? You know what I'm talking about? It's not as legitimate as any of the statistics on Ricky's side because it's Gravely, Jones, Madonka. You lost to Amin. You know what I'm talking about? But he wasn't going for no fucking takedowns. He was the perfect stylistic matchup for you and you couldn't get it done. So what happens with fucking Ricky? What happens with Ricky, man? Huh? What happens with Ricky, man? Does Ricky come out here and show off? Does Ricky find a way to get this one done? He's from Washington. It's in Seattle, Washington. Old boy's from what? Afghanistan? Fuck is Javid from? Fuck this fight, man. We gonna get this shit right, you hear me? We gonna get this shit right. I apologize, but we gonna get this shit right. I don't give a fuck. You can tap the fuck back, tap out if you want. Tap back in later the fuck on when it's done with. Yeah, I'm talking about shit. We gonna get this fight right, man. What the fuck are you gonna do, Ricky? Like, I'm not mad at that Vinicius loss. You know, Javid loses the Vinicius as well, in my personal opinion. And possibly inside the distance. Now, Mario Bautista, I'm just not high on Mario Bautista because I feel like he lost that fight to Jose Aldo, but they gave it to him anyway because they feel like he's one of the individuals involved in a new, new tear. But Mario Bautista's a beast, man. You know what I'm saying? He probably fucks up Javid too, but to be determined. Sung Yadong, he's top tier for the most part. Who cares about Jack, Hoffel, Brian, Perillo, or Ray Borg? The only shit that really pops out is his first couple fights, Marab and Montel, but that was way back when. That's the same as being deceived by, I think it was Drew Dober, who came in knocking out Beneil Dariush or something like that. You know what I mean? Some people do some off-the-wall shit in their debuts and they first little couple fights, and then it just doesn't go right for them. Fuck! I know Javid is not that guy, though. Like, I know he's not that guy, man. I know he's not that guy, man. Man. Fuck. We gonna go ahead and rock with Javid, man. We gonna rock with Javid, man. We gonna rock with Basharat, man. So that's it, man. That's the whole card right there. You know what I'm talking about? Quite a few fights, unfortunately, you know, were canceled on this motherfucking card. But yeah. Ketlin Vieira versus Macy Chiasson, Barboza versus Garcia. Chiasson withdrew, Barboza withdrew. Adam was supposed to fight the bull Islam. He withdrew. Curtis was supposed to fight. His opponent withdrew. Mansour was supposed to fight Antonio Tricali. Tricali withdrew. Dominic Cruz got an injury, so, you know, he was supposed to fight Rob Font, but he had to withdraw and then retire. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's just that with that, too many shoulder injuries. I think he said he dislocated like 2 times. And the second, you know, preparing for this fight, and the second time it was just it. He was done. It was a wrap. He called it, pulled it, you know, closed the curtains and retired, man. So respect and salute to the Dominator, Dominic Cruz, but he was amongst one of the many fights that were canceled, you know what I mean? So let's run through this motherfucker real quick from bottom to top, because we will not do no light adjustments this week. There will be no pick switching this week. I am confident that I have found the right side in all of these fights, but, you know, to be determined. So, let's run over it. First fight of the night. Proceed with extreme caution. This is a fight that I want absolutely nothing to do with. It is the first fight of the night, and it presents questions from both sides. That checks all kinds of boxes in a complete pass section. I want nothing to do with this fight, but for a fight that I want absolutely nothing to do with, Modestus is the pick. Mansour versus Blue Collar, Nick Klein. Mansour Abdul Malik is the pick to be able, you know, to be the one to get this one done in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Not necessarily sure how he's going to go about securing his victory, but I am highly confident that he will be the one to walk away victorious. Next up is Ricky Simone versus Javid Basharat. This is another fight that I want absolutely nothing to do with. Not in any way, shape, form, or fashion, unless we're talking about a haymaker or a Hail Mary on the prelims, trying to sweep the whole prelim card. And even then, a duplicate ticket will be made and a swap out option will be applied, because I cannot find myself confident on either side. But for a fight like that, Basharat is the pick. Nursultan, Ruzi Nursultan versus Eric. This is a fight I'm interested to see how fast it fucking ends. You know what I'm talking about? I don't want anything to do with this volatile ass shit. You understand what I'm saying to you? This motherfucking fight is gonna be explosive from the moment they let these two motherfuckers get after it. In my personal opinion, man. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm not gonna be, you know, low on Nursultan for his Buckley. So Nursultan's the pick, man. You know what I mean? Adam Fugit versus Billy Ray Golf. I'm gonna take the dog, Adam Fugit, to bark against Billy Ray Golf. Ion versus Ebo, another fight that I want absolutely nothing to do with. Would not be surprised of any outcome from either side. But on a fight like that I want nothing to do with, Ebo's the pick. Now we have Andre versus Costa. And, you know, Touchy's the pick for me, man, to be the one to get this one done in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Possibly via KO, TKO. Maybe he catches, clips him, hurts him, hops on top of him, and finds a way to get his first submission victory inside the UFC octagon. Maybe he drags it out to a decision and it's fight of the night and they both have their moments. But Andre's the pick. So that's the prelims, man. Remember this. Remember these caution, you know what I mean, marks. I don't want anything to do with this fight. But Modestas is the pick over Hafel. I'm confident in Mansour over Nick Klein, the blue collar. I don't want anything to do with Ricky versus Javid, but Javid's the pick. I don't want anything to do with this Nurse Sultan versus Eric, but Nurse Sultan's the pick. I'm kind of solid on Adam as a dog to bark against Billy Ray Golf, man. But I can't put it anywhere near my confident picks, man. You know what I'm talking about? To be determined as far as most confident picks are concerned. But I'm solid on Adam as a dog. I don't want anything to do with Ion versus Ebo, but I expect Ebo to get it done. And I'm solid on Andre to be the one to get it done in some way, shape, form, or fashion over Costa. And that main card, we gonna start off rolling the dice on Julius Juice Box Walker to be the one to come in here and play our Taliesin, Texterra role this week, leaving Alonzo playing the Tafa role and getting caught, clipped, and disconnected from his consciousness, man. We gonna get him up out of here, or we gonna find a way to ground and pound him out, put him in a compromisable position and submit him. You know what I'm talking about? We rocking with Juice Box, man. But proceed with extreme caution, because I don't want anything to do with that fucking fight. Now, I'm confident in Gene over Melsick. I'm confident in Gene over Rob. I'm confident in Anthony over Brendan. And, I expect Henry as a dog to bark against Sung Yadong, but I get it and I understand it as far as the action on Sung Yadong. I just think, Sung Yadong isn't Merab Dvalishvili, and Sung Yadong isn't Aljamain Sterling. And I say that to say that Sung Yadong isn't the kind of stylistic matchup that presents problems for someone like Henry Cejudo. He's more of a, when we talk stylistic matchups for Henry Cejudo, he's not a Merab Dvalishvili. I think we can all agree on that. And he's not an Aljamain Sterling. He's not one of those individuals that will aggressively and heavily press the wrestling and grappling on someone like Henry Cejudo or anyone, period. You understand what I'm saying to you? Now, TJ Dillashaw, we talk about stylistic matchups, man. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna say Marlon Moraes because I don't like him. But Sergio Pettis, TJ Dillashaw. We're not gonna talk about the Dominator neither, but these individuals who are nice on the feet, based off those timelines, I'm talking about when he fought them too. The TJ Dillashaws and those of this division that, Henry Cejudo has been in there with. The more technical practitioners might want to say, the more diverse individuals on the striking department, and individuals that might just possess more routes to victory as far as being more dangerous. One might believe those are the type of individuals that Triple C beats, man. The Merab Dvalishvilis and the Aljamain Sterlings, the ones that aggressively press the action and heavily implement the wrestling and grappling. They're the ones that give Henry Cejudo a problem because that's Henry Cejudo's department. You know what I mean? And when you're not only confident in your abilities in that department, but your abilities in that department, are overwhelming enough to frustrate that man into not, when he's not able to get his off and you're able to get yours off, like that's what happens. That's what happened to Henry in them matchups. They were doing to him what he's used to doing to somebody else, and he didn't like it, and he was noticeably falling apart. Individuals who come out there and want to strike with him, they allow him, like TJ got knocked out, if I'm not mistaken, because, they're worried about the wrestling. They're worried about the grappling threat of that, single leg or that double leg or that explosive, power double. They're worrying about all of that, all of those transitions and level changes, and it allows, round 132, around, it allows him to catch you, and crack you with an overhand or catch you with something that, he might not necessarily normally catch you. Somebody else might not necessarily normally catch you with if you're not, you know, looking out for all that extra shit that comes with a Henry Cejudo. You got to watch out for those wrestlers that possess a nasty fucking overhand, man. You know what I'm talking about? The Chad Mendezes and, you know, Henry Cejudos. Like, these individuals, they have you so worried about the all-around body of work that they just, you know what I mean, touch towards your knee and you kind of, and boom, over the top. Oh, shit. And then they're on you real quick, boom, and they're snatching and pulling guard and they got you. They crack you in the first round. It's club and sub all day because they're grabbing on you. There's no blood, there's no sweat. You're still relatively dry and they just locking it the fuck up. I could be wrong, man. I could be wrong, but as of right now, how many dogs we got? We have Henry Cejudo as a plus 220. Then we have Fluffy as a minus 285 favorite. Gene, to be determined because the money line's not available on here. We have Gene as a minus 575 favorite. Julius Juicebox Walker, to be determined. I expect he'll probably be an underdog, though, just based off of him making his UFC debut and fighting Alonzo Menafield. So, you know, main event's a dog. Then it's favorite, to be determined. Right? Underdog in the main event. Yep. Favorite in the co-main event. Well, to be determined in the co-main event with Gene, but I expect him to be a favorite too over Rob. Then we have big favorite in Gene. To be determined in Julius Walker. Andre Philly's an even pick'em. Ebo's a slight favorite. Adams another dog at plus 225. So we have a plus 220 dog in Triple C. And a plus 225 dog in Adam Fugit. Then we have Nurse Sultan, Ruziboff, money line, to be determined. I expect him to be a slight favorite. Maybe it's an even pick'em, kind of like Andre Philly and the boy Costa. Maybe it's one of those type situations, but I don't expect Nurse Sultan to be the underdog. You know what I'm talking about? So, to be determined. Javid Basharat, favorite. Mansour, favorite. Modestus, favorite. So that's favorite. To be determined, but I expect him to be a favorite. Then we have a dog. And we have favorite. Well, pick 'em. To be determined. Favorite. To be determined, but I expect him to be a favorite too. Favorite. And a dog. So it's the dog. It's the 220 dog in Triple C, main event. And I explained to you for a little bit, you know what I mean, just a few minutes ago why I feel like that's the proper side. You know what I mean? But I understand if you're on the other side. That's just why I feel like it's the proper side. So we had that 220 dog. And then we have a plus 225 dog in Adam Fugit. We can talk a little bit more about Adam Fugit. You know what I mean? You know, 5 knockouts. 3 submissions, 2 decisions. As far as his wins, 2 knockouts, 1 decision, 1 submission. As far as his losses, man. You know what I'm talking about? But it is what it is, man. When it comes to these 2 individuals, levels of opposition, I personally don't believe there's any great significant difference outside of the Michael Morales and the Michael Malott fight. And I think we can all agree on that. Let's see here. This is Billy Ray Golf. Let's talk about Billy Ray Golf, who is 9-3. Billy Ray Golf is 9-3. Fuck all that amateur shit. Alright, so it's this 2, 10, 13, 21, 26, 33, 41, 49, 55, 63. So 63 and 2, 3, 8, 10, 14, 15, 17, 18. 63 and 18 for his 9-3. Billy Ray Golf is 9-3 up against opposition with combined records of 63 wins, 18 losses, right? We just ran through it, so if anything was wrong in the last count, you already know what he was hitting for. That's what Billy Ray Golf looked like. 9-3 up against opposition with combined records of 63 wins, 18 losses. You know what I'm talking about? Adam Fugit. Alright. Adam Fugit is motherfucking 10-4. So So he got 2 more fights in old boy. So we got 2, 3, 6, 8, 9, 19, 22, 26, 34, 47, 53, 62, 68. So 68, 1, 4, 14, 16, 18, 20, 21, 22, 28. So old boy's 9-3 up against opposition with combined records of 63 wins and 18 losses, and old boy is 10-4-1 up against opposition with combined records of what, 68 wins and 22 or 23 losses and 1 draw. So there's no significant difference in the level of opposition that these 2 individuals have faced. Adam has 2 more fights, rightfully so. His victories, his green slot has just a couple more in it, and his losses has just a couple more in it. But there's no significant difference in the level of opposition that they've been facing when you look at the numbers. When you look at who they've faced as of lately, well, that shit's a bit different. You know what I'm talking about? Because then you got to talk about where you at, boy? Where you at, Fugit? Billy Ray Golf and Adam Fugit is a dog. Where you at, motherfucker? Billy Ray Golf, man. Let's talk about the kid, man. So he came in on the Contender Series against, nobody. He won that fight. Then he fought nobody, and he won that fight, which set him up with another Contender Series alumni, you know what I'm talking about, in Trey Waters, who Trey lost to Gabriel Bonfim on Contender Series, but beat Josh Quillen in his UFC debut, and then beat Billy Ray Golf. So, I'm not going to say that the loss to Trey Waters is nothing to frown on him about. I'm not going to say that it's not anything, that it's not to be frowned on. Because Trey Waters, as far as level of opposition is concerned, at this level is to be determined. You know what I mean? As can be seen, like he beat Billy Ray Golf and he beat Josh Quillen. Well, Josh Quillen is 1-4 inside the UFC. You know what I'm talking about? He lost to Trey, he lost to Danny, and he lost to Adam. He lost to every motherfucker. Josh Quillen lost to all these other Dana White Contender Series individuals. He lost to Trey Waters. He lost to motherfucking Danny Barlow, and he lost to Adam Fugit, all individuals who possess long limbs. You know what I'm talking about? That's who Billy Ray Golf lost to. You know what I mean? All of these motherfuckers over here, man, I don't know. I think he has problems with these individuals that, possess a bit of a height and a bit of a reach on them and, show resistance. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm tripping. But that's Billy Ray Golf, man. 5'10", 72 inches, switch stance. You know what I mean? Adam Fugit, 6'1", 77 inches, southpaw. And he lost to Michael Morales on Dana White Contender Series in a competitive fight until it wasn't. He got caught and he got clipped. Then he came in and he beat a nobody. You know what I'm talking about? But then he lost to Michael Malott. And Michael Malott is what? 5-1 inside the UFC. So, as of right now, for this level of opposition and this tier that they're competing against, that is not a bad loss. Just like Michael Morales is absolutely not a bad loss. He's 6-0 inside the UFC, and he's already taken out Max Griffin. He's already taken out Trevin Giles, Max Griffin, Jake Matthews, and Neil Magny, and we can all agree that all 4 of those individuals are mid-level UFC veterans. You know what I'm talking about? So he's, 6-0 in the UFC. Losing to Michael Morales is nothing to frown upon. Losing to Michael Malott is nothing to frown upon. But beating old boy who's a nobody is nothing to call home about, and beating Josh Quillen, who is fucking 1-4 inside the UFC, is nothing to call home about. You know what I'm talking about? So it is what it is, man. To be determined. You know what I mean? To be determined. I just feel like the highest level of opposition that Billy Ray Golf has been in there with was Trey Waters in outside of the UFC, anywhere in his career for any promotion in any cage. The highest level of opposition that he's fought in was Trey Waters. Adam Fugit, the highest level opposition that he's fought, Mike Malott and Michael Morales. I believe both of those Michaels to be a higher level of opposition than Trey Waters. I most definitely believe Michael Morales to be a higher level of opposition than Trey Waters. And he was in there with Michael Morales for 3 rounds until he wasn't. And I don't believe Billy Ray Golf possesses the speed, the power, or the abilities to get Adam Fugit out of there inside the distance, or to drag it out and beat him, you know, via unanimous decision, man. It is what it is. It's my personal opinion, but it's why I am on that dog. You know what I'm talking about? I want to talk to you about why I'm on the dogs. We over here at Fresh Start Mixed Martial Arts in the doghouse, and we fucking, you know, we fucking with these dogs. And I want to let you know why we fucking with these dogs. Not so many this week, but it is what it is. You know what I'm talking about? This card is volatile, man. And a lot of these fights should be -110, -110 pick'ems, because I believe a lot of them to be coin flips. But that's me, and who the fuck am I? You know what I mean? So the 2 dogs that we rocking with, Adam Fugit, I just told you why I'm on his side. I believe he's faced a higher level of opposition. I believe he is, in his own right, a higher level of opposition than Billy Ray Golf. Man. Whether it's just 1 tier above or a tier or 2 above, I believe him to be a level, you know, of opposition above Billy Ray Golf. So that's why I'm rocking with that dog in Adam Fugit. You know what I'm talking about? Henry Cejudo, we talked about that. I believe him to be a very bad stylistic match for Sung Yadong. Sung Yadong, much like the TJ Dillashaws and the other strikers who wanted to stand, you know, and be the more cleaner technical practitioners and, you know, produce the better all-around body of work in the striking department using whatever wrestling credentials they have defensively to keep the fight upright. Those individuals don't win the fight against Henry because he presses the pressure, he applies the pressure, presses the action, puts you on your back foot, and secures the takedowns. Merab Dvalishvili and Aljamain Sterling, they are bad stylistic matchups for Triple C. The Kung Fu Kid is not, as can be, you know, seen right there in his name, the Kung Fu Kid. He wants this to play out on his feet. He wants to keep this upright and produce the better body of work over the course of 25 minutes in the striking department. Henry Cejudo will not allow that to happen, and Henry Cejudo will have his moments because the threat of the takedown and the implementation of the all-around body of work is there, which leaves openings for Henry Cejudo to get off and possibly catch a clip and disconnect the Kung Fu Kid from his consciousness. You know what I'm talking about? I like Henry in this matchup, but that's why I'm on that dog, and that's why I'm on Adam Fugit as a dog. Now, to be determined on the Juice Box Kid. Where's he at? To be determined on Julius Walker, the Juice Box. I do believe he probably will be, based off the fact that he's making his UFC debut and the level of opposition that Atomic Alonzo Menefield has faced, you know, which hasn't been altogether great, but it has been a higher level of opposition than anything that Julius Walker has had to face. You know what I'm talking about? So, you know, it is what it is. Proceed with extreme caution. I'm just kind of maybe more so fading Menefield. You know what I mean? He's coming off of 2 knockout losses. He got the decision over Dustin Jacoby, but I think folk were giving Dustin Jacoby a bit more credit than he deserved. You know what I'm talking about? As can be seen in Dustin Jacoby's last couple fights, if I'm not mistaken. Well, he got the win over Vitor Petrino to bounce back from the loss to Alonzo and the loss to Dominic, who I don't necessarily believe is back because he got a win over Dustin Jacoby and Anthony motherfucking Lionheart Smith. You understand what I'm saying to you? Proceed with caution. But, yeah, man. You know, knocked out by Murakhanov, or however you say his name, and then knocked out by Oberg before that. That's nothing to frown about. But beating Jacoby and beating Jimmy Crute's nothing to call home about. Drawing to Jimmy Crute, beating Misha Sir. Like, he's been in there with the higher level of opposition. We can't deny that. But, you know, I just feel like this Julius kid is going to come in here on his debut and find a way to get this one done. Maybe I'm wrong, and that's what happens when you fuck with these prospects. But that's also why we don't overly invest in these prospects. We place the, you know, caution tape and proceed accordingly, man. I just like, you know, I like his work, and I like him to play the role of Talus and Testera, and I like Alonzo to play the role of Tafa this week, man. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the roles are reversed. Maybe he gets this kid the fuck up out of there, and with quickness, with an atomic bomb type shit. Who the fuck knows? But Juice Box is the pick, man. I'm only going over Juice Box as a pick again because I believe he's going to be a dog when the money lines drop. You know, the Bevon Lewises and the Myron Dennises are nothing like the even the Misha Serkinovs and the, you know, Paul Craigs and the other names. Like, they're nowhere near the level of opposition that old boy's been competing against. But the same could have been said about Taliesin and Tafa, and the same can be said about just about everybody when they get that call. You know what I'm talking about, to make that UFC debut. It's up to them to prove that they deserve to get that call, and they earn their way there, and they deserve to be on the other side of that octagon. And I think Julius Juice Box Walker, at 25 years old, 6'4" with an 81-inch reach, is gonna come in here and play the role of Taliesin this week, man. So those are my three dogs, man. Everybody else is a favorite because although it's to be determined on Gene versus Rob, I do believe Gene's gonna be a favorite. And if he's a dog, woof woof, motherfucker. You know what I'm talking about? But that's it, man. That's it. I held y'all hostage for long enough. Modestus is the pick. Mansoor is the pick. Javid is the pick. Nurse Sultan is the pick. Adams the dog. Ebo's the pick. Andre's the pick. Julius is the dog. Gene's the pick. Gene's the pick. Anthony's the pick. And Henry's the dog, man. You know what I'm talking about? So it is what it is. Three dogs to bark on this card if things go my way. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. I do apologize for holding y'all ear hostage for that fucking long. That was not my intention. But I wanted to make sure we got this motherfucker right. You know what I'm talking about? Get back on track over here in the doghouse, man. 12 fights, 3 dogs, 1 even pick'em, and 8 favors. Most of them significantly so. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. Peace and blessings.